Adam took a slow, deep breath and descended into the sewer. It was his first quest. Barely worth it, he felt. Though he understood, he had to start at the bottom. The stench within was revolting. He kept a small, glowing stone to guide him. It threw twisted shadows over the whole area. A squelching sound drew his attention. He had found his prey. Slimes dragged their flesh along the narrow corridor of the sewer. Adam released a bolt of flames at it, causing it to boil and burst. One down, but then he looked about to see more approaching. From behind, in front, and above. One dropped down onto his shoulder. Adam brushed it off, but it stung his hand. Looking around, he found himself truly surrounded. Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide, Jason. Today, we turn our attention to one of the simplest monsters of all. One that seems almost harmless at first glance, but has brought the end of many adventurers, the slime. The slime, the blob, or the ooze, is a common foe found in many fantasy settings. There aren't any solid sources to tie it to a mythical origin. The closest may be the Nupepo of Japanese mythology, but that has limbs and walks, and half an idea of a face. In Lovecraft's writings, there are the Shoggoths, creatures made of a black slime. It is a simple creature, no organs, just a blob. Yet, what is a slime? You are probably thinking it is a single-cell organism, an amoeba. Yet, I can guarantee that is not. If you cut an amoeba in two, it will die. It will hemorrhage its cytoplasm with little chance to heal. This is not true of a slime. One of their most defining traits is the ability to be smashed, slashed, and blown up, and just reassemble and keep moving as if nothing had ever happened. This is by far the slime's most powerful ability. You cannot simply slash away. Brute force will not suffice. Your second thought about what a slime is surely an algae of sorts, a plant that lives on photosynthesis. A large cluster which could float on water and turn it green. That would be a fair guess, except for a few issues. Slimes are frequently encountered in caves, sewers, and dark places. Yes, some are found outside, but that isn't consistent. Not ideal for photosynthesis. The one thing you would never assume, but is the most accurate concept, would be a sponge. Now, you are thinking about the thing you have in your kitchen to clean your dishes, correct? Well, no. The sea sponge is actually a type of animal. Yes, it is an animal. The sea sponge is a bizarre creature. They are capable of reshaping themselves, partially due to the fact that there is little difference in their cellular structure. No muscles, no nerves, or sensory organs. This sounds a lot like our slimes, does it not? And here is where we hit an issue, it seems. Slimes are predatory, but what about sponges? Most of them are comprised of a porous structure, which uses filter feeding and simple flagella and water currents to circulate seawater through them and extract the necessary nutrients. The water enters holes near the base and flows to the central chimney, where the water exits at the top. Most, that is. In a select number of caves in the Mediterranean Sea and in the deep ocean, which have limited water circulation, In this special area, the sponge have evolved a new way to feed: predation. The family Cladorhizidae, these sponges have adapted to engulf slower animals that rest upon it, small crustaceans being the most common. Yes, if this sounds like a slime hunting technique, it is. Almost. These sponges still lack one skill set: the ability to move. While slimes are like sponges, they are lacking in that one skill. But remember, I said that the sponge could reshape itself in a very limited amount. From there, the predatory sponges only need to adapt to move, an evolution which has happened multiple times in history, such as from sponges to jellyfish, something that could easily happen again. The ability to move could be further improved by the sponge's skeleton. No, it doesn't have bones, but it does produce spicules. These are spine-like structures made from silica and calcium carbonate. This is the key to giving the slime the structural stability needed to move and reach for prey. By exposing small ends of the spicules, the slime could use them as a crude form of teeth to open wounds and immobilize prey. Yet we are lacking in a single ability to make our slime the ideal predator, and that is the ability to hunt. Yet we have no eyes, ears, or noses. That leaves the slime with two senses: taste and touch. Neither should be forgotten. The first is the easiest to explain. As prey moves through an area, it will leave behind particles which our slimes can follow. It is the sense of touch which can trigger the slime to attack. We already know that predatory sponges possess this to ensnare crustaceans and other small animals. There is one small pocket that does occur, and that is the sentient species of slime. That indicates intelligence, which means we need nerve cells, kind of. What really matters are the synaptic connections. Now, it would be easy to create a form of synapses between the slime cells. Yet, there's going to be an issue. If the cells are separated, the synapses would be destroyed. So instead, we would need a more diffused chemical or hormonal-based synapse. While possible, it is slower. Overall, this one strain doesn't fit neatly with anything. Slimes lack in many fields that you would expect of dangerous predators. They aren't fast. They aren't super strong. No, their only tactic is grappling. But they do have the advantage of durability. Many adventurers are quick to find out that swords, maces, and arrows are no use here. Frequently, they will become a detriment. If physical attacks don't work here, what does? Well, non-physical attacks. Magic is the first thing you think of. Sponges and slimes are susceptible to dehydration and freezing. While neither is a guarantee, it can give you the advantage. Bring forth all your fire and ice spells. Lightning should be advantageous as well. Now, if you can enchant your weapon with these powers, that can actually make them usable. The ultimate way to defeat a slime is relying on its own instincts. It hunts and eats. And that you can use. You can easily lure them into traps and outmaneuver them. Poison is the perfect weapon for slimes. A strong compound that can be pressed into the slime to make it absorb it. Coat it on the ground or your weapons. That is the easiest way to defeat a slime. Lowest risk to yourself, and that is important. Remember, the first rule of being an adventurer is to keep your head on your shoulders. That is why you want to deliver the poison by throwing it. Stay safe and keep your head. Regrettably, slimes can rely on numbers to compensate for their slow speed, as I said before. This is why you should always be ready for more than one. Remember, just because you are sent on one job for a particular target doesn't mean there won't be more issues to arise. Yet, always assume that there are more threats coming. If you're fighting one slime, assume that there are 10 more behind you. Be careful. One issue will be the environment you are fighting in, normally sewers and caverns. This will be narrower areas and can limit your weapon usage. Long weapons like polearms and greatswords may be out. They are often dark, which means you will need to bring a light source. Be careful with fire spells, for 2 reasons. 1. Heat being trapped inside and turning the cavern into an oven. 2. Smoke buildup. Now, there is one weird option you could potentially try. It is pretty stupid, but desperate times do call for them. Can you eat a slime to kill it? Yes and no. Biting off a piece should be possible, but there is a high chance of it being poisonous. Also, if that piece is able to move, it might wander into your lungs and you will drown. But if it goes to your stomach, it will take time for the acid to dissolve the slime, and in that time, the slime will try to dissolve you. So no, please don't try eating the slimes. Let's be honest, sooner or later, you will mess up and a slime will catch you. You got cocky or careless. What do you do now? Give up? That won't do. You should fight until the end. The slime will need time to dissolve you. Hours for most species. But what you won't have is air. Keep your head out of the slime. As long as you can breathe, you can keep thinking and then act. Free your hands. A slime isn't a strong grabber, so you can pull your arms and legs back, as if pulling them from a tube. It won't be easy, but you can do that. If that isn't an option, jerk your hand up and down, small amplitude with a high pace. Even if tired, don't stop. Keep going. This should create enough space that you might be able to slip by. If your arms and feet are free, you can work to pull your body out. Grab something that will hold you and pull. Use any tool or help you can get. Start a fire and push the slime back. Of course, the best option is to get help from others. Help them keep a cool head while not losing yours. Work together. Use a torch or magic to create an opening to escape. As always, have a party, be safe. Overall, a slime is a weird foe. With a little planning, you can bring them down easily. But if you make a mistake, things tend to go sideways very easily. Still, I do feel that they should only get a 2 of 10 for difficulty. There is some danger in facing them. Slimes are not known for loot, no gold or important equipment. They don't mine or keep hoards. When they kill something, they dissolve it inside and discard the unusable material. This will include what metal equipment poor adventurers lost. So look about their lairs and you might find some useful goods. Yet there is another option. Slimes can be kept in jars to dispose of food waste in houses. This is how they frequently end up in sewers, working to keep them clean. You'll need to routinely prune the slime to keep it from growing too large. The final trick I have learned comes from a former assassin. Slimes can sneak into rooms through even the tiniest of openings. If you find a slime that can sense body heat, you can sneak one into a room to slide down a target's throat. This isn't reliable because of bedroom fires and heaters, but be careful, it is an option. Now, some species of slime are toxic. You could harvest that to coat your weapon. Just be careful, the slime might grow back from the poison. Adam looked around him. There were so many. They were slow, but that was his advantage. He quickly went to work. He conjured a wall of flames behind him, a stopgap protection, but it gave him breathing room. Enchanting his blade, it glowed hot as flames danced about. He swung it at the encroaching slimes. Sweat ran down his face. It was tough work, but he was making progress. In time, they were all defeated. Adam took a minute to have a drink of water before proceeding. Hiding in the shadows, an observer watched on behalf of the guild. He still hadn't passed their first test. Slimes are odd creatures. A creature that is more durable than dangerous, and that is its threat. There is a good reason that they are often the first foe an adventurer, such as yourself, will face. Thank you for watching. Please return next time for the Undine. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.